Oh my gosh. I just ate literally like 2 of these kebabs and they are insane. What I'm going to teach you how to do today is something called kofta. These delicious seasoned up meat kebabs that are cooked to perfection, so much flavor, so much tenderness. You are going to love this, I promise you. No joke, there are quite a few different variations of kofta. You might have heard kafta, kefta, lots out there depending on where you're from and what country of origin, because they all have a different version. What I'm gonna do is give you my take, my friends. But the first thing we're gonna do though is make a quick little dipping sauce. Super good. Sound good? Let's cook. Go ahead and grab some roasted tahini and put it right into a bowl. Obviously, you're gonna need to use a rubber spatula because, well, it's thick. Now I'm gonna add in a few garlic cloves pressed through a fine garlic press. This is absolutely necessary to do. You do not want any big chunks of garlic in here. And now I'm gonna squeeze in a good amount of lemon juice. This is gonna help cut a lot of the acid. And I always usually hold my other hand there to let the lemon juice drain through and so the seeds don't get in there like you see here. And now I'm gonna add in just a bit of cumin. It's gonna add some really tasty flavors here and then season it with sea salt. Go ahead and grab a whisk and start to mix everything together. You may notice that it starts to become even thicker, and in this case, you're going to need a little bit of water to help thin it out, but it's also going to make it nice and creamy, just like you see here. Let's go ahead and set it in the refrigerator until we need it to serve up. So this tahini sauce is incredibly delicious, and it doesn't go just great with this kofta recipe. It goes awesome in pasta, over cauliflower, with falafel. Keep it. It will last you a few weeks. I promise you, you'll use it up. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and pull out some ground sirloin from the refrigerator, and traditionally this does have only lamb in it, but there are several iterations of this, like a Persian restaurant down the street that just serves sirloin. Now you can just do sirloin, just lamb, or a combination of both. This part is totally up to you. No joke, I'm not even kidding here. Don't you dare ever tell my wife what I'm about to do. I'm gonna put lamb in this. It's a little bit more traditional to use in a kofta recipe, but she doesn't like lamb. And I'm not gonna tell her. I'm gonna sneak a little bit in here. Just don't do it, okay? Don't do it. She's never gonna know about it, all right? Here we go. Add in just a little bit of ground lamb, like I said. It's gonna help, to me, add a little bit more flavor to the kofta. Now set it to the side, and I've got a yellow onion. You could also use a red onion or even a sweet onion. That would be fine. Slice off the ends, cut it in half, and then you want to immediately peel it. We're going to put it back down, and you want to small dice this. The other option is to actually run it on a grater to make sure it's really diced well. Now I'm going to, again, run some garlic cloves right through a fine garlic press. Going to add some amazing flavors here. And now for some fresh parsley. I'm using Italian flat leaf. What I like to do is sort of roll it up into a little ball and then chop and slice away. There's no uniform to this. Just finely chop it. It doesn't have to be anything perfect. Set it to the side right in that bowl with all the other goodness. And now I've got some mint. This adds such good flavor. Do not skip out on this. Just like the parsley, roll it up into a little ball and give it some finely chops. Throw it into the bowl with everything else. So that's it for the vegetable prep. Now it's going to be seasoning time. And most frequently, you may see something in a Lebanese type of kofta is something called za'atar. And it's a combination of spices and salt and herbs. It's really, really delicious. You can find it at a spice shop. You may not get it from your local grocery store, but if you can get it, grab it because it's absolutely delicious. Here we go. We're gonna start by adding in a very classic ingredient called sumac. This comes from the berries of a wild sumac flower, and it's very, very popular in the Middle East. You can sometimes find it at the grocery store. Now hit it with some ground allspice. Next, I'm going to add in a good amount of cinnamon. Adds such good flavor here. Now we're going to hit it with some ground cardamom. Lots of goodness there. Next, some cumin. I went a little heavy on this because I love the flavor of it. And then we're going to finish with the seasonings with a bit of paprika. We want to season it very, very well with some sea salt and some ground black pepper. Now go ahead and get some gloves on, or you can use your nice clean hands. Hopefully you've washed them, and get in there and squeeze all of that goodness together. Take some time to do this. You need to incorporate the lamb, all those spices and the onions and garlic. And then the next thing we're going to do is wrap it up and go ahead and place it right in the refrigerator. So this is almost like a dry rub marinade. So you could leave this overnight, let all those flavors infuse. But for me, I only need maybe 30 to 60 minutes. I think that'll be sufficient. But again, you want to go longer? Totally cool to do so. Now, let's pull out that amazing kofta mixture, and then as soon as you take the plastic wrap off, you can smell it immediately. It smells so good. We need to skewer it up, and thank goodness my pastor and his wife gifted us some skewers from Turkey. They're absolutely gorgeous. You can find these at any Middle Eastern housewares store or even sometimes a Middle Eastern grocery store. So to do this, what you want to do is take a large handful of here. Remember, these skewers are extra long, and sort of start to ball it up, pressing everything together and sort of shaping it more into a cylinder so it's easier to spread onto the skewer. Once you're at that stage, grab that skewer, stick it right through the center, and then you start to form it by pinching it and pulling it, just like you see here. Squeeze it a little bit and pull it down the skewer. Once you're at this consistency, this looks pretty good. Maybe a little thicker than a traditional skewer, but hey, I love the flavor of this, so I'm adding a little bit more. We're just gonna set it to the side on a sheet tray lined with parchment paper and head over to the cooktop. Okay, two really quick things. Before we cook them, if you find that the meat is sort of falling right off the skewer, pop it in the refrigerator really quick. It just means you've overworked it. It's sort of heated up and it's falling away. When you pop it in the refrigerator for maybe 10 minutes, it'll tighten back up. The other thing, classically and traditionally, this would be cooked over the open flame, and you can 100% do it on a grill, no issues. Now, I love grilling food, don't get me wrong, but what I really like to cook ground meat on is a flat top, or like a griddle if you have one of those. Ask yourself, when you cook over a grill, there's holes in the grates, and then what happens? All the fat, all the juice, all the deliciousness drips through. When you cook on a flat top, you leave all that goodness on there, and it stays really tender and really delicious. That's why I do it. I had kofta once on a griddle maybe a few years back, and I kept thinking to myself, I'm never gonna grill this again. So here's what I'm gonna do and how you should do it too. So head back over to that cooktop. I'm gonna add just a little bit of oil at the beginning just to ensure nothing is sticking, and then grab those delicious kofta skewers. I'm about medium-high heat. This is about 400 degrees or so. We're gonna put it on there. It's only gonna take about 4 to 5 minutes per side. I know that seems quick, but this meat is actually way thinner than like a big fat burger, because remember, you got that skewer running through the center. Just flip them over once they turn nice and brown, just like you see here. Absolutely amazing. And the flavors that come from this while you're cooking it is incredible. Your kitchen, no joke, is gonna smell amazing. Once they are done cooking, we're just gonna set them to the side on a sheet tray lined with parchment paper, per usual. Head back over to your countertop. And then one thing I did want to mention, if you want to serve this up with vegetables, classically just some nice roasted tomatoes and onions will do for a few minutes per side. Also, there's sometimes some peppers on there as well. I've done said it in the last 100 videos. To all my commies out there, my chefs in training, you start understanding these fundamental techniques, you put them into practice, I promise you, your everyday cooking is going to be so much better. You're making things from scratch. And like I always say, homemade food from scratch always tastes better. You just learn how to make a traditional kofta, how to skewer it, how to cook it, make it so much better. I promise you, there's no reason to ever go to the restaurants, although I love them, or the grocery stores to buy pre-made stuff ever again. You can do it right from your home, I promise you. Now we're gonna plate up in slow-mo. I'm gonna serve this on a big sheet of parchment paper. Very simple. You could do it on a sheet tray or even on a cutting board. Hit it with that tahini sauce. And then of course, I'm gonna garnish it with some parsley, and you could absolutely serve this up with your vegetables and some white rice. Man, oh man, check out these beauties. No joke, one of the best all-time kebabs I've ever eaten. You will love it. Be sure to like and share this video. Subscribe to my channel. Check out this video. I promise you, I made it just for you. You will love it. I'll see you on there.